Good morning, America, and welcome to my channel, Maya's Politics and Survival Guide, and also the Great Depression channel, Cooking and Stories. I do hope you like my videos, so please click like, subscribe, and share with others that you think might enjoy this. Well, today, what I'm going to talk to you about is what it was like during the Great Depression. And I did not grow up in the Great Depression. My mom, my grandma, and other relatives that did, they brought the Great Depression era down to us as we were born and grew up. We experienced Great Depression living due to them having to live through the Great Depression era. Now, most people don't realize that the Great Depression began in 1928 and it started in 1929, the full effect of it, just as we're seeing today in America. We are in a very deep recession, which is also known as the beginning of a depression if we do not do something about it. So I firmly believe that we are headed for another Great Depression. Uh, One of the things that I I talked with people about over time when I lived in California and other states and whatnot. Um, what I thought was fascinating was that we need to recycle. Oh, everybody needs to recycle and save the planet. Well, did you know back in the Great Depression era, most people did that? They recycled everything. Every little thing they had to recycle and reuse until there was no more using of it, such as clothing. They recycled their cans, their jars, and soda pop bottles and whatnot. Um, I don't know what happened to our society to where that people literally began to just throw away tin cans that your soda came in or other products came in. Um, Back in the Great Depression era, most things came in metal cans, aluminum cans, jars, glass, and you really didn't have a lot of plastics. And so, and when you went to the grocery store, everything was paper bags. Uh, when you went to the meat market, uh, the meats were cut up in front of you and they were put in paper. They were wrapped in paper. And and it's fascinating because today everything's wrapped in plastic. And they want to say save the planet by eliminating plastic bags or bring your own plastic bags or buy our reusable bags. And yet they still sell all these plastic products on the shelves. You can't really be concerned about the planet if you're still selling products in plastic, such as dish soap, laundry soap, um, all this stuff. Your food products, your fruit trays, and everything, all in plastic. Why? I don't know. So, saying that you're going to save the planet by eliminating plastic bags is not the way to start. If you're going to really save the planet, then maybe you should consider just eliminating all plastics. Um, so, I don't know where to go with that one. It just boggles my mind that uh, cutting back on plastic bags in the stores so they can save the planet is just kind of, to me, a joke, knowing that everything else in the store is all in plastic. So, anyway, I'm going to go on. One of the things is that back in the Great Depression days, um, my mom, as I was growing up, she recycled your clothes. They were called hand-me-downs. Everybody, the older siblings, their clothes went down to the younger ones. And yes, I was one of the younger ones, so I got a lot of hand-me-downs. And I did just fine. Um, every once in a while, I did get new clothes, but mostly I got hand-me-downs. Kids, they shared clothes, they shared their socks, and in the family. If there was a hole in your pants or a tear in your dress or whatever, they got stitched up or patched and they were good to go. Now, the we going to school was a different thing. Kids had school lunches. Yes, school lunches were really good. I had them before, and I thought, wow, this is really good food. And it's not like school lunches today. The school lunches today just went, it's really bad. I don't think any of it's healthy for you. But my mom always saw to it that had paper brown bags, small ones. She wrote her names on them and she put sandwiches in them. And that's what we had for lunch, a sandwich and a piece of fruit. That was our lunch. And today, when you're serving kids pizza, processed foods, cheap sugary foods, just stuff like that. You got to wonder what in the world happened to where that a parent cannot make a sandwich for their own child to take to school for lunch. And kids would point at us and look at us, say that we're poor, we're poor. We already knew we were poor. You don't have to tell us. We knew it. And, but then we had fresh fruit and we had a sandwich that was made with love. So, those are things that we grew up on. We grew up on a lot of mac and cheese, and my mom, if she was able to afford hot dogs, she would dice them up and she would cook them in with the mac and cheese, and that would be a meal for everyone. And if we had enough, we had salad on the side, and she uh, she made a lot of fruit salads, and she made a lot of Jello with fruit in it, and we were happy with that. We ate a lot of oatmeal too, which I actually love oatmeal. And she if we did not have oatmeal, she always had rice as a backup, and she would cook the rice until it was kind of like a mush. And she would add some cinnamon, some honey, or a sweetener to it, and stir it up. And it was cereal, rice cereal, and it was good. We ate it. We survived. We grew up. And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize how simple life was back then. Not everybody was sitting around watching television all day. People were out foraging, learning how to survive and get by for the next day. And so telephones, um, if you were lucky, you could afford one. But back then, not many people had a phone. Um, and today, I think about it, and it'd be kind of nice to go back to the day where there were no phones. Because, I mean, people can be really annoying, especially those spam callers. Um, and so, other things that my mom would cook for us that she grew up on the Great Depression was a lot of chili and rice. She would mix rice in as a filler to thicken up foods for you. And she would make chili. There was more beans and rice than there was meat in it. But if she had the meat, and she would put in a pound of ground beef. Um, she would also dice up an onion and some green peppers and things like that, and she would stir fry it all up together. And then she would add in the chili beans. She would cut up tomatoes and throw inside of it and stuff, and make chili. And then she would throw in some rice and let it simmer over the stove, and you could smell it. And then she would make homemade cornbread, and and it just was just the best food ever. Oh, on a cold winter day, you just wanted to eat her chili. And so, mm, my Folgers coffee. Well, anyway, she uh, she would make dinner rolls out of flour. She knew how to bake. She knew how to do all these things, and she passed down the recipes and everything and the know-how to all of us young girls, even the boys in the family. She passed it down to as well. Um, because she felt that boys needed to learn to cook too if they were not married. So, but she did all this cooking and fried chicken. Oh my! Oh, when she got her hands on some chickens, and I'm not talking about chickens in the store. I'm talking about fresh chicken. Oh, my mom was out there in the backyard and she was chopping the head off, and and she would pluck it, boil it, and everything, and but before she did that, she actually took the chicken and she would take a a flame that she had, and she would burn off all the little tiny hairs off the skin of the chicken to remove everything off of it. And she would clean it, wash it, clean it, and everything. And don't use soap and water, because you don't use soap and water on a chicken. You just rinse it thoroughly. And she would chop it up, and she would oil it down and everything, season it, and dip it in a cornflakes and flour and stuff like that. And she would fry it in oil. And oh, it just turned out it was some of the best chicken ever. And back then, instead of people going to the store and buying instant potatoes, mashed potatoes, or pre-packaged mashed potatoes, she boiled her potatoes and made mashed potatoes. She made her gravy using flour, salt and pepper, basic seasonings, easy, and a little grease. And she always recycled her bacon grease or pork. And she had a jar in the kitchen that was labeled, and that's where she would put her bacon grease and all the other grease in, and she would reuse that to fry eggs and stuff like that in the morning if we had the eggs. And so, but we mostly grew up on oatmeal or rice cereal, and I saw nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it was tough. We we saw some of the great things that were in the stores, like the sugary cereals with the pretty packaging labels and stuff. Yeah, we wanted that stuff. But you know what? When she made us her famous jello with all that diced up fruit and coconut in it, oh, that was delicious. We did not need ice cream. And if we did get ice cream, it was also homemade. So back in the Great Depression era, a lot of people didn't realize how tough it was. Money was extremely tight. You could get one full bag of groceries for under $5. And, and it's just amazing at the difference of how much food costs today in 2026 versus back then. And and as we were growing up, she always found a way to make everything work. Now, when my dad left all of us, He didn't leave our mom. He left all of us with our mom. She had to work hard. And back in her day, it was tough. She was on her feet all day and all night. And she worked at a what they called an old folks home. That's what they called them. They didn't call them retirement centers. They were called old folks home. And a lot of times people would just come up and drop off someone on the front porch and leave a note and take off. Well, she did that. And she was not paid well. She made $2.50 an hour to support a family of 11. And yes, we were on some government assistance, but she saw to it and she told some of my older siblings to go down to the food bank and get some of that government cheese and get some of those noodles and pasta and get what you can, because the bills were due. Rent had to be paid, electricity had to be paid. It was a lot of work for her. She was a great mom. And I appreciate her. And there is a saying, and a lot of people have never heard of it: mother is God in the eyes of a child. And if you think about it, she gave you life. She is your protector. She is the one that holds you tight when you're scared. She's the one that tucks you away at night into your bed. She is the one that wakes up in the morning with a smile on her face and goes to bed with a smile on her face, holding all the hardships inside of her struggling to take care of all of us. She's your protector. She's the one you run to when you fall and scrape your elbow or your knees. And the thing is, us women are not appreciated as much as we should be. I am fortunate that my husband, he appreciates everything I do. And I appreciate everything he does for me. And with my parents growing up in the Great Depression and our dad leaving, there was no child support system back then. It was optional for men to feed their children that they brought into the world. It was optional. And let me tell you, they didn't pay. I know, because I watched my mother work. And the way I gave back was to help her in the kitchen, to help her make up the beds. And at the end of the day, when she was so tired, she would be sitting at the table and she would be sipping on some coffee or tea. And she loved her lemon tea. And I would brush her long black hair. And she would close her eyes. And she would hum. And she would say, "That feels so good." And I would brush her hair for at least a good 30 to 40 minutes. Slow brush strokes. She was an amazing woman. Now, the Great Depression era offered something that you don't get today. Most Americans that go to college never realize that when you go to college that you are actually getting into a debt trap. Something you'll be stuck with forever if you don't have the funds to get out of it. When my mom began working at the old folks' home, she began with cleaning floors, cleaning out the tubs and showers, taking out the trash. And after she did that for a while, they upgraded her. They began to show her how to give the people in the old folks' home a bath, to change their clothes, to change the bed linens. And then after that, they began to teach her how to administer the medications. This is in the old folks' home. They showed her how to dispense the medication, to mark them, and how to do injections. She did not have to go to college to know that. A system created to go to college so that you could be an assistant or a nurse at a hospital or in an old folks' home, retirement home. It's a system that was created to keep you in debt, in my opinion. My mom, they taught her on site how to do this. She went from wearing a gray uniform from cleaning floors and tubs and showers, and she worked her way all the way up to getting her nurse outfit and the nursing cap. She knew how to take blood pressure. They taught her everything on site. She didn't have to go to school. She did not have to go into debt. They taught her hands on. And that, to me, is the best form of education. Just like a lot of electricians that are deep in debt from going to college, when they can actually go out there and get a job with another electrician and learn hands on. From the Great Depression era to today's way of living, it's just turned upside down. Christmas. If my mom was able to find wrapping paper, she got it if it was cheap. But the majority of our Christmas items came in paper bags, or she would put them in a pillowcase. She was creative. She didn't believe in wasting money because they didn't really have money to waste. But she knew how to do things right. She worked hard. And in the nursing home, the old folks' home, the retirement home, whatever you want to call it, when she was giving out the medication, most people don't realize if you're a diabetic, if you're taking medication that's prescribed, do you need a college degree to do so? Because what do they do at the hospital? They show you. They show you how to give yourself an insulin injection, a hormone injection. And you go home and you do it yourself. They prescribe other medications in pill forms that you take orally. And you read the instructions. The pharmacy will tell you exactly how many pills you should take per day, per week, what the side effects are. Do you need a degree for that? My mom became a nurse, and she had no degree because back in her day, that's how they did things. And I love her. I miss her. And one day I hope to see her in heaven again. God bless you, Mama. And I hope everyone out there learns to appreciate their moms and their grandmas and their dads too. Bye bye.